Yeah, recording has started. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So in today's session, we are going to discuss about Prometheus. Prometheus is one of the monitoring tool. Okay. So nowadays, almost in every interviews, they will be asking you which monitoring or observability tool you have been working on. Right? Yes or no?
Yes.
అందరూ సైలెంట్ ఎందుకు
Yes, in
అయిపోయారు?
every interview.
Yeah, almost in every interview, they will be asking which monitoring tool or which observability tool you guys have been working on. So in our case, we have used CloudTrail and CloudWatch. CloudWatch was the monitoring tool what we have used in our previous session. Okay, but when it comes to Kubernetes, right? So Prometheus will help us to easily track all the activities related to your cluster. Okay, so in every monitoring tool we have three concepts. One is monitoring, one is observability, okay, and then we have something called traces. Any idea what is this? What's the difference between these three? Monitoring means this will help you to understand how things are working. Means you will be having one dashboard where you will check the utilization of the CPU, or you will try to understand the capacity. I mean, how many pods are running, how many EC2 instances are running, what are the different applications, what is the status of the applications. Okay, so monitoring means this will help you to things working as expected. This will only help you to understand how things are working. Okay, now observability means if something goes wrong, if your application is break because of some XYZ reason, then why that application has been not working, what is the issue, that part we can understand with the help of observability. Means this will help you to understand why things are not working, what happened to your application or what happened to your infrastructure. Okay, now coming to traces means this will help you for debugging. When a user is trying to access any application, how the request is being redirected from, if suppose we are having multiple microservices and there is a communication between one microservice to another microservice. So how the request has been transferred. All these details you will be able to understand with the help of traces. Okay. So in any monitoring tool, we have three concepts. One is monitoring, one is observability, one is traces. Monitoring will help you to understand how the things are working. Observability will help you to understand why the things are not working, and traces will help you to debug your issues. Okay. So one such tool we have is Prometheus. Prometheus will help you with monitoring and observability as well. If you want to use traces, there should be a combination of Prometheus plus Loki, LOKI. So Loki is for log monitoring. So we are going to work on Loki as well. That will be our third and last session on monitoring. So for monitoring, we will be having three sessions. Okay, and today is our first session. Okay. So now, why there is a huge demand for Prometheus in the market? Why everyone is going through Prometheus? And apart from Prometheus, do we have any other tools in the market? There are a lot of monitoring tools. One such tool is Dynatrace. Dynatrace is also very popular monitoring tool. And we have something called New Relic. That is also one of the important monitoring tool which is available in the market. CloudWatch is one of the monitoring tool. The reason behind Prometheus is it is an open source. Open source means it is free of cost. So everyone will be looking for open source applications only. There might be different reasons. One is in terms of project cost, one is in terms of the community which is been available across the internet. Okay. So now in Prometheus, first thing is you need to understand the architecture of Prometheus. What are the important configurations? Okay, so let us just check the architecture. This one looks good. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. So in Prometheus, we have different options. Okay. So if you'll see this Prometheus server, this is our EC2 where we are going to install our Prometheus. In this EC2 instance, we have three. One is retrieval, one is TSDB, and one is HTTP server. TSDB means time series database. All the information related to our metrics will be stored in terms of time series database. Retrieval means this will help you to fetch the metrics from your target machines. For example, you are having one EC2 instance and you want to monitor metric related to CPU or metric related to the response time or metrics related to 400 error, 500 error, right? So in this case, this retrieval is something which will help you to scrape the metrics. So how it is scraping the metrics? With the help of pull metric means Prometheus work on pull based configuration. It will always try to pull the metrics from your EC2 instance. This is nothing but our target machines, Prometheus target. Okay, from here, from our EC2 instance, this retrieval will help you to pull all the metrics to your target Prometheus server. And then this will be saved in time series database. And Prometheus will also have its HTTP URL, means you can try to access your Prometheus dashboard as well. And this one node HDD SSD, this is nothing but our volume to store our data related to our database. Clear? This part is clear.
Yes.
Okay, and now we have something called service discovery. What do you mean by service discovery? What is the use of service discovery? For example, every time a new EC2 instance is attached to the environment. So what we are going to do? We are going to add some manual steps. I mean, we are going to update the file called prometheus.yaml and inform our Prometheus server that this is the new target service which you need to monitor. Every time whenever there is a new instance which is attached, then you need to do this process. For example, if you have attached 100 servers, 100 new instances are configured to our environment, then this will be very difficult for us to add manually. Yes or no? If it is for one EC2 instance, then you can update manually and this is a easy job. But if we are having hundreds of servers and every time you need to update that file manually, that is not possible. It will take lot of time, right? So that's the reason we have something called service discovery. Service discovery, what it will do? This component will try to check if whenever a new EC2 instance is attached to our environment or new EC2 instance is launched on our AWS platform, it will automatically identify the targets. No need to manually update. Every time a new EC2 instance is launched, it will automatically fetch that information and update in the Prometheus server. Whatever targets are created, that will be identified with the help of service discovery. In this architecture, we are talking about Kubernetes. It can be EC2 instance as well. Any target, whether it is virtual machine, whether it is EC2 instance, whether it is Kubernetes platform or Docker platform or Docker Swarm platform. It can be any platform. Okay. Now we have, yes. Guys, do you have any question? Okay. Now, for every monitoring tool, if we don't have the alerting configuration, means whenever if something is not working as expected, then we should get notified. Every time I will not be monitoring the dashboard, right? It should automatically send a notification to either my email, to my Slack, to my mobile, or anything is okay. And alert manager component will help us to send the notifications. We can either integrate with PagerDuty, with email, or with Slack. We have lot of configurations. Okay. Similar to our SNS, simple notification service. What it was doing, it will help you to send the notification if something goes wrong. Okay. And now we have something called Prometheus Web UI. Means we have one dashboard as well. You will get the interface to monitor your metrics on your browser. And we can see something called PromQL, Prometheus Query Language. So this language will help you to fetch the details. Means if suppose you want to check the number of CPU or the uptime of the EC2 instance, then you can write one query which is supporting PromQL, and with the help of that query you can try to get that information. Okay. And then we have something called Grafana. We have something called Grafana. What is the use of Grafana? Grafana is for visualization purpose. Visualization means dashboard. Visualization means dashboard. Okay. Now, when we are using Prometheus, then again, why should I use Grafana for visualization? Grafana has its own HTTP server. Grafana will help us to create our web UI user interface. Then why should I use Grafana? Prometheus dashboard is very complex. This is not easy to understand. After the execution, right, you will be able to see why we are using Grafana. Okay, so Prometheus dashboard is not an easy task. I mean, it's very complex. You will not be able to see the results properly. You will not be able to understand the output. That's the reason we use Grafana. Grafana is only for visualization purpose. Means it will help you to create beautiful dashboards. Whatever metrics we are fetching from the Prometheus server, those metrics will be integrated with Grafana, and Grafana will help us to visualize the dashboard. Apart from Grafana, it will support third-party visualization tools as well. Okay, not only Grafana, it will support different set of tools as well. Clear? If you have any questions on this, let me know. Yes or no? Okay. Now let us try to create our Prometheus server. Okay. So in today's session, I will just launch one EC2. I will set up Prometheus and I will try to add some targets to my Prometheus server. And then we'll try to use Grafana to visualize. And in tomorrow's session, we are going to work on AWS EKS monitoring. Okay. So that we'll have both the hands-on for EC2 as well as for EKS service. Okay. So where is my AWS? Let me launch one EC2 instance. Okay, image Amazon Linux, that is fine. Type T3 micro will work. Keep let me use the existing key Prometheus. Let me use the existing security group, which is default. 8 GB is fine. Launch instance. In interviews, you might expect questions on the architecture. If you are good with the architecture, right, what are the different components, then you're almost okay. Let me delete this previous one. Okay, so this is my instance. Now in this server, I will try to install Prometheus. Okay, so Prometheus, we have the official documentation and the installation process is very straightforward. Okay, so if you'll go to prometheus.io, this is the official website of Prometheus. Now let me go to downloads. Okay, here you can see this is nothing but our Prometheus server. So here we have this Linux based, mine is Linux based platform, right? So I will be using this tar file, copy, go to my server, wherever you want to download. I will be using this opt location, wget, and then URL. Let me copy again. Let me copy again. Yes. Okay. Now, if you'll see, let me switch to root user first. Permission issues. Okay, here you can see this file has been downloaded and the version is 3.6, latest version. Now I want to extract this tar file. So how to extract? How to extract a tar file in Linux?
R hyphen
Tar
R hyphen XVF XZVF.
tar xvf Prometheus. Okay. So what this will do? This will help you to extract your tar file, right? ls cd Prometheus. So this is my Prometheus directory. Now in this Prometheus directory, we have different files. One of the important configuration file is prometheus.yaml. Everything you need to update this YAML file only. If you want to add one alert manager, means you want to integrate with email, you need to update prometheus.yaml. If you want to add new target, you need to update prometheus.yaml. If you are trying to monitor some metrics, then you need to update in prometheus.yaml. Everything you need to update in prometheus.yaml file only. This is the only configuration file what we have in Prometheus. Remember this name, this is very important. And apart from that, we have something called Prometheus. This is the actual script to run our Prometheus server. Okay, let me open my notes. I will be sharing these notes after the session. Okay, so if I'll use this command will help me to start my Prometheus server. But what will happen if I'll use this command? This will start in the foreground. Here you can see server is ready to receive web request, and you can see the port number as 9090, means your Prometheus server is running on port number 9090. And here you can see that it is starting the time series database. Okay, so let me try to access my Prometheus server. IP address, public IP 9090. Query. This is our Prometheus dashboard. Now, if I'll go to the status, target health, here you can see, we can see some metrics. I haven't configured anything, but still we are able to find some metrics, right? So by default, Prometheus will monitor its own server. That's the default configuration. We haven't did anything. The moment Prometheus is installed, it is trying to monitor its own metrics. Okay, here you can see localhost 1990 means same server, and then slash metric. This is the endpoint. All the metrics you will be able to identify with the path prefix like metrics. If I'll click here, let me use this public IP slash metrics. Okay, here you can see few metrics are getting published. Prometheus is trying to capture its own server metrics. By seeing this dashboard, you will not be able to understand anything what is happening. Is this easy? This is very difficult for a new person to understand what is happening with the server. Okay, so now if you'll see the screen, here my cursor has been stuck. So what I will do is I will try to run my Prometheus service in the background. If I'll use Control C, this is stopped, right? So let me create one service file and run my Prometheus in the background. Now the moment my cursor is stopped, Prometheus server is also stopped. This part you are already aware what will happen, why this is getting stopped and all, right? So let me go to the notepad. Let me create one service file.
Saber bhai, can't we use no hub
Yes,
command?
we can use no hub as well. That will also help you to execute in the background. There are multiple ways, but every time you don't want to restart it manually, right? So what I will do after configuring of this service file, I will enable this command. So what will happen every time whenever that machine is getting rebooted, it will automatically start the service. In no hub, we don't have that. Okay. So this is my YAML file where this is configured. Now let me start the service again. THEUS. Okay. Let me check the status. Prometheus service has been failed. Let me just check the path again. Okay, path is wrong. I'm in the root location only. Okay. Now let me try to once again, guys. Let me remove my WhatsApp. Okay. This is first. Okay. Now let me check the status. Here you can see this is active and this is running. Now if I'll try to refresh this page 1990 without targets. Okay. So my Prometheus is running in the background. Now I want to monitor the metrics related to CPU, right? So how we can enable that option means how can we monitor the metrics related to CPU? If Prometheus is installed, that doesn't mean it will monitor all the metrics. You need to specify which metric you want to monitor. So for now, what I will do is I will try to monitor the same Prometheus service related to CPU. Okay. So for any metrics, you have different plugins. For example, you want to configure alert manager, then you can use this alert manager and download the tar file. And then we have something called black box exporter. This will help you to monitor your website, whether your website is up or down. All those metrics we can monitor with the help of black box exporter. Okay. And then we have something called node exporter. Node exporter. Let me just node exporter. Yes. So this plugin will help you to monitor metrics related to CPU, disk space. If you want to monitor metrics related to database, then you can use MySQL D exporter. Means what kind of metrics you want to monitor. First, you need to understand that. Okay, based upon that, you need to install these plugins on your Prometheus server. If you want to monitor Prometheus server, then go and install there. If you want to monitor on your EC2 instance, then download this particular plugins in your target machine. As of now, we have only one EC2, that is Prometheus server, and that is my target also. So I will be installing node exporter plugin in my target machine. Okay. So let me copy, double get, and then let me copy this URL. Okay. So node exporter plugin is downloaded. Let me try to extract. Done. Now if I'll go to this particular file, then we can see we have something called node exporter. Means this is the actual file which needs to be started. Now what I will do again, I will try to create one service file in the background to run my node exporter in the background. Okay. So let me just go to my documentation. What kind of plugins we have? I have given all the details here. You can just try to check these details. Based upon this, we can try to monitor the metrics. Node exporter is very important. Black box exporter is important, and SMMP exporter. Basically, this is something related to the network devices. Okay, so let me just configure this. Yes, Rohit.
Since we have installed Node Exporter in the Prometheus server, why do we have to create another service file to run that in the background? Like since the Prometheus server is already
This
running in the background.
No, this will be running as a different service. This is not part of Prometheus. But default, what will happen is if Prometheus is allowing all the monitoring stuff, then this application will be very huge. Means మనకు అవసరం లేనివి కూడా అన్ని మానిటర్ అయిపోతున్నాయి. That's the reason what they
Okay,
have did. Prometheus server is a different part. If you want to monitor CP related, then install Node Exporter. If you want to monitor your website, use Black Exporter. So whatever based upon your requirement, you can try to customize. If Prometheus is a complete package, what will happen? You can see n number of metrics, which is not really required for your applications, right?
right. Yes.
Okay, I am just creating one service file related to Node Exporter. For example, after couple of weeks or after couple of months, you don't want this Node Exporter, then you can just shut down the service. No need to shut down Prometheus. You want Prometheus, but you don't want to monitor CPU metrics. Shut down this Node Exporter. That's it. Your Prometheus is working. Different metrics are still monitoring.
Got it. Makes sense.
Let me start this service node underscore exporter. Okay, let me check the status. Here you can see this is also running fine, active, and node exporter will be running on port number 9100. Means you can also manually just check. Let me copy this. 9100 will be the port number for node exporter. Here you can see node exporter. Okay, if I'll click here, metrics, that you can see all the metrics related to the node exporter plugin. Okay, so now what I will do is I will inform my Prometheus. Means here if you go to the target health, you don't see anything related to the node exporter. The only metrics what we are seeing is your local metrics, we are unable to find the CPU matrix, right? Means you need to inform your Prometheus that this is my target. Please monitor this matrix. Now, which file I need to update? As I said, we have only one important file, that is prometheus.yaml. You need to update that configuration. Okay, so let me go to the prometheus.yaml file. This is in my Prometheus file. Yes, let me vi, or before vi, let me just do cat so that we can see what all different details we have. Okay, here you can see the global configurations. This is what will help you to scrape the metric. Means it is trying to pull the matrix and push the matrix to the dashboard. And then we have something called alert manager. Means if you want to configure email notification or pager duty Slack, then you can update that configuration in this block. Either you can maintain a separate alert manager.yaml file, or we can try to use the existing prometheus.yaml file. And which port number it is using? 9093. Okay, and then we have something called static configs. This is very important. Static configs. Here you can see this. As of now, we have only one target, that is localhost colon 9090. That's the reason we are able to see here localhost colon 9090. Already there is one target. There's a default target, right? We haven't did anything. It was by default configured. Now let me add the new node node exporter plugin related details. Okay, so let me use vi. Okay, one second. Okay, let me add these details. So under this you can configure this target. So I'm just updating the node exporter details. Means currently my node exporter is running on port number 9100, which is localhost. If it is some new EC2 instance which is a different target, then you can update the public IP and then the port number. Okay, so let me save this file, and now let me try to restart my service so that all the changes should be reflected. Okay, let me just check the status. Here we can see this is actively running. Now let me go to the dashboard and try to check. In this, we can see two different metrics are getting pulled from the Prometheus, right? One metric is 9100 and one metric is the default metric. If I'll click here, okay, this is using private IP. That's the reason this is getting failed. Always use public IP, right? Here we have this one. So this is nothing but our metrics. What kind of information this is trying to pull from the Prometheus server? Because that's the same target what I'm using right now. Okay. Now, okay, we can see this matrix and all the details. Now I want to check the uptime, means, or else I want to check the current CPU utilization. What is the CPU utilization from my Prometheus server? So we can use this query option and we can try to execute Prometheus query language PromQL queries and try to fetch the details. One such query already I have written. This is very difficult to remember, but the thing is you need to identify, you need to remember the keywords, node, CPU, seconds. Okay. So average and all, this will be based upon the timing what we are trying to use. Do not worry about this. The one will really ask all these queries. Let me execute. Now here, once I have executed, right? So here you can see that instance is localhost colon 9100. This is my local machine, and the current CPU utilization is 0.1666 something. And it has taken 224 milliseconds to load, and we have one update, means one output. Is this easy to understand? This is how Prometheus will work. Whatever you want, you need to just pass the query and it will provide the details. That's the reason we are using Grafana for the visualization. Got it? Yes or no? We
Yes.
have around 23 members.
Yes.
Okay. So whatever metrics you want to monitor, if you want to monitor something related to your website, then as I said, you can use black box exporter. If you want to monitor the number of database queries has been passed, how many requests has been passed, how many requests has been failed, what was the response time, then we can use MySQL D exporter. Whatever you want, you can try to download the plugins and then you can try to monitor those metrics. And in order to get the results, we can use this metrics. I mean, from QL query and try to gather the information. Similarly, we have another query. Let me just check. We have something called uptime. From how much period of time this EC2 instance is up and running. So let me just check that metric. Yeah, we have this one uptime. So let me copy. Here you can see this 9100, which is this EC2 instance is up and running from last 0.422, some random number. This is not easy. You will get confused for sure. Okay. So in order to avoid such kind of confusions, we use Grafana for the visualization purpose. Okay. Now here in the status, we have target health, means all the metrics, whatever we have configured, you will be able to see this in target health. From how many minutes it has been trying to fetch the information, what is the status, everything you will be able to see. Now here you can see something called service discovery. What is the use of service discovery? As we discussed, this will help you to automatically identify the new target machine. Okay. Now what I will do is I will try to launch one new EC2 instance, and that new EC2 instance details should be automatically identified by the Prometheus server. I don't want to update it manually. It should automatically identify that target instance. If it is for one EC2, then we can do manually. But if it is for hundreds of servers, then that is really difficult, right? So first, let me try to update manually. And then again, I will try to launch one on another EC2, which should be automatically fetched. Okay. So let me go to my AWS console. Let me launch instance. Target 01. Let me use same security group because already all the ports are opened in the security group. I don't want to again open all the ports. Okay, this is my target machine. Let me try to connect. Let me try to connect from console itself. Now, what you need to do? I want to monitor the metrics of this particular target machine. I want to fetch the CPU related metrics. First, let me switch to root user so that it will not be an issue with permission. Let me go to OPT. So, what steps do I need to follow? I want to monitor the metrics related to target 01. Will you guys please respond? We have got one new EC2 instance. This is my new target. I want to monitor this metric. So, what I need to install? By
Prometheus.
default, Prometheus will not monitor, right? We haven't configured service discovery. So if I want to monitor CPU, I need to install that plugin. No need to install Prometheus server. Prometheus server is already available here. This is my Prometheus. All the configurations are available. I just want to monitor the CPU related information of this target machine. So what I will do, I will just go to the Prometheus dashboard website. Okay. And then let me go to the node exporter plugin. Copy link address, duplicate, and then paste. This is installed. Now let me extract this file. This is visible, right? Star XPF node exporter. Okay, this is updated. Now I will create one service file. That's it. Okay, let me just go to my service file details. Let me create one service file. This is my data of my specific service. Okay, let me start this service. Start node underscore explorer. Let me update again. Okay, sorry. Okay, this is also active. Now, if I'll go to the public IP, Node exporter is running on 9100 service, right? 9100 slash metrics will be the endpoint for metrics. Here also you can see some metrics are getting fetched. Okay, so this is working. Now we know that we have one target. We have installed Node Exporter plugin which needs to be monitoring the CPU metrics. Now I want to update this target to my Prometheus server, right? So if I'll go to the Prometheus dashboard in target, here nothing is there. Here we have only two metrics and both are related to the local host, means your Prometheus server, right? So new EC2 instance, nothing is available. So what I will do, so as we have discussed, so you need to go to your, let me log in. Okay, you need to go to your Prometheus service, Prometheus YAML file, and then here you need to update the new target. Okay, this is my IP address of my target EC2 instance. Let me save this. Let me restart Prometheus service system. Okay, let me just check the status. Okay, here we can see this is active and running only. So if I'll refresh this dashboard, target health, here you need to see now a new target is identified. See here, we have one new matrix, means our Prometheus is now successfully able to pull the metrics from the target machine. This is done by the retrieval component. Okay, so let me just try to execute one query. Just try to execute one CPU related query. Yes, this is my CPU information, right? So here now I need to see two details. One is from the local machine and one is from the new target. Execute, see, right? Here it is what we can see. This is trying to fetch the information from the target machine. Means our CPU monitoring is being successfully implemented. This is how you need to manually update each and every time. Each and every time a new target is getting added, you need to update these details. You need to install Notepad Exporter plugin and then update your Prometheus.yaml file. Means you need to tell your Prometheus.yaml, this is the target. Go and try to pull the metrics. And that plugin is responsible to scrape the metrics and push to the Prometheus server. How many targets do we have? Every detail you can see from the target health. Clear?
Yes.
Now, a new EC2 instance is getting launched. For example, if we are using auto scaling, what will happen? It will scale and scale down automatically without any manual intervention. So if we have the current setup, then it is of no use. I mean, every time I cannot really update, and once that instance is terminated, I cannot delete. Guys, guys, go on mute. Okay. So if you have a kind of auto scaling groups, then every time this is not possible for us to manually update, right? So what we need to do, you need to use service discovery. Service discovery, it will help you to automatically detect new target machines. Okay. So what I will do is first let me go to my Prometheus server. So this is my YAML file, right? So let me update the YAML file vi prometheus.yaml. This is my YAML file. Let me update this YAML file with the service discovery details. Okay, so let me go to my document. Okay, service discovery. Yeah. this part. Let me copy and let me paste. Okay, here you can see job name EC2 iPhone node iPhone exporter. Whatever name you want, you can try to configure this. This is not a problem. But default, Prometheus will support service discovery for AWS EC2. Means you no need of additional configuration. Just update the YAML file. That's it. But default it is supporting, so no need of any additional configuration. Now I will specify that please use the region, which region you want to use. My current EC2 instances are in US East 1. This is my current region and the port number is 9100. And here we are trying to configure one label as well. Tag means if any target machine, if the name starts with Prometheus node, then this is our target. This will help us to filter out whatever you want. You can try to use. For example, you are launching 10 EC2 instances in, and from that 10 EC2 you don't want to monitor 2 EC2 instances, you want to monitor only 8. So in this case, how will you segregate? Service discovery by default it will monitor everything, right? So here I have written one condition that if this particular tag of the EC2 is Prometheus node, if it is starting with this particular tag, then only please monitor, or else you can ignore the target. Clear? So now let me save this and let me try to restart my Prometheus service. Restart Prometheus.service. Let us try to check the status. Fail. Here you can see it is failed. There is some misconfiguration. Why this is getting failed? Yeah, let me remove this. This is not required. Already we have this configuration here, right? So we are under the same parent module. Okay, let me save. Let me restart. Let me check the status. Now you can see that this is actively running. Now let me just go to the service discovery and check. Here we have these three are our current targets, three metrics. Okay, so we haven't launched any new EC2 instance, so it is unable to identify anything. Now what I will do is I will go to my EC2, my AWS EC2 instance. Okay, first I will be updating one IAM role, and that role will have the permission to get the information of the EC2 instances, because this Prometheus server needs to gather the information. This should read the tag and this should identify the newly created instances, right? So what I will do, I will try to update one IAM role. Okay, so let me go to my IAM. We have something called IAM role and IAM policy. Policy is nothing but the set of permissions. Role will help you to communicate from one service to another service, right? So let me go to these policies. Okay, here I have copied that policy also. You can just use this copy, and here you can see that it is trying to describe the instances, means gathering the information of the EC2 instance and trying to check the tag. Okay, let me copy this. Let me create policy, JSON. Okay, test-Prometheus is my policy name. Create policy. Okay. Now I will try to attach this policy to my role. Create role, AWS service, and the service is EC2. Okay. Now, what was the policy I have used? Okay, test-Prometheus. Got it. Okay, this is my role name. So let me just copy. Create role. So what we have did, we have attached one policy to that role, and that policy is helping us to gather the information of the EC2 instances on your AWS account. So where should I attach this particular role? To which EC2 instance should we attach? Whether to target machine or to the Prometheus server. So you need to attach to the Prometheus server because our service discovery is running on the Prometheus server, right? So let me go here. Let me go to the where is that option? Yeah, modify IAM role. And this is my test role Prometheus. This is the role what I have created now. Let me update. Okay. So once this is done, then we are almost good with this configuration. So now what I will do, we have did two configurations. One is we have informed our Prometheus server to automatically gather the information by using IAM rules and policies. And second thing is I have updated my Prometheus.yaml and informed that please use service discovery to identify new targets. Okay. Now let me launch one new EC2 instance. And we had one condition. The name of the target should be Prometheus-node, right? So this should be our label. Then you can please try to target this. So let me use this tag 01. Launch instance. Now, once this EC2 instance is launched successfully, you can automatically check that this will update a new endpoint. Here you can see this endpoint, a new target 35.77. If you'll see the IP address 35.77. So this is my newly created EC2 instance. So I haven't updated anything. These details has been automatically gathered by the service discovery. Service discovery is very important. Okay. So let me refresh. Here you can see that error scraping target and the state is down means it was able to identify that there is a new target, but it is unable to gather the information. Why this metric is getting failed? Why it is unable to gather the information? What can be the reason? Anyone who can answer this? Our Prometheus server identified that one new EC2 instance has been created or launched, which is added to the environment, but the metrics are failed. It is unable to gather the information, right? So how Prometheus will pull the metrics? On what basis it is trying to scrape all the metrics? Our Prometheus server will pull the metrics from the target machines. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? Now, in this case, if my Prometheus server wants to pull the metrics, you need to set up plugins. In our case, we have installed EC2, I mean, launched one new EC2, but there is no plugin configured. So, which metric it should fetch? It identified that there is a new target, but there are no metrics because we haven't configured any plugins. Yes or
We
no?
have to add user data with node for
Yes.
automatic download
So,
and
yeah, so
configuration.
what we can do is either you need to log into my newly launched target and install node exporter. Whatever plugin you want to install, we can install and it will try to fetch the information. Or else, see again, if you are trying to log in manually and installing everything, it is again a manual process. So what I will do, I will launch one EC2 instance. I will install what all plugins I want to monitor, what all metrics I want to monitor. And I will take one snapshot. And next time I will be using that custom AMI. Means no need to install. Already it is everything is available in the snapshot. Or else we can use user data. And that script will help you to install the node exporter plugin. So currently I haven't did that, so let me just try to log in manually. Okay, for now I will just update this manually, but when you are working for any projects, right, better to use existing snapshot. Okay, so let me switch to root user cd opt. Let me try to download the node exporter plugin. Okay, this is done. Now I will not create this one. I will not create any service file. I'll just try to run this manually. Where is the command dot procql? Command. Well, looks like I missed that command. Okay, let me try to create the service file. Okay, this is my service file. Let me add the content. Okay, let me try to start this node exporter service. Okay, so let me just check the status. So every time instead of manually updating, better use one custom snapshot and try to use that AMI. Okay, this is active. And now if I'll check my Prometheus dashboard targets, we can see that this is also up and running. Means this instance 9100, that is nothing but node exporter service, is sending the metrics to the Prometheus dashboard. Clear? Is this okay? I mean, have you understood this?
Yes.
If even we are launching 100 servers, it will automatically identify the target. No need to manually update. Okay. Now, let me just try to execute the CPU utilization command query. and try to check how many targets. Now we have three targets. One is Prometheus server node exporter, one is target 01, one is Prometheus iPhone node 01. So we have three targets, right? So let me just try to search for query, execute, right? See, here you can see three different targets. Okay. Now our dashboard is not better. I mean, this is not clear. We are unable to identify or we are unable to understand the information, right? So what I will do is I will set up Grafana. Grafana will help us with the visualization process. Okay. So let me just go to my Prometheus server. I will use the same Prometheus server and install my Grafana. Grafana setup is also very straightforward process, guys. So let me go to OPT. Okay. And let me go to my notepad. This is the official documentation. Always follow official documentations. Here you can select Linux. Okay, here we have these commands, right? So let me just use these two commands. This is for Linux platform. So mine is Linux, so I will be using this. I'm just trying to copy paste both the commands so that it will execute one by one. So what is happening? It has downloaded the tar file and now it is trying to extract. Okay, this is done. Now if I'll go to the Grafana, this is my directory. And here we have something called bin binaries ls. Now here you can see this Grafana. Okay, so we have three files. Let me execute dot Grafana server. This is my server. This is my script. Okay, let me execute. I'm running in the foreground, so let it be because I will not be installing anything after this, right? So now let me access Grafana, which is running on port number 3000. This is my Prometheus server. Where is my Prometheus? Yeah, no, this one. This is my Prometheus server. Grafana is installed on this machine. So port number 3000. This is Grafana dashboard and it is asking for username and password. So by default, it is admin only. Who joined? Okay. It is asking us to update this new password. DevOps at the 123. DevOps at the 123. Okay, Grafana server is ready. Now our metrics are getting fetched by Prometheus and I want to display that matrix on my Grafana. So we need to have one connection. There should be one connection from our Prometheus server to Grafana server, right? So let us go to the connections, add new connection. Here, if you see this data source, we have different data sources. Means Grafana not only support Prometheus, you can try to fetch the information from different monitoring tools. So these are the different monitoring tools which can be used or integrated with Grafana. You can also use CloudWatch. You can also use CloudWatch and integrate with Grafana. Means CloudWatch will help you to pull the metrics. Grafana will help you with visualization. So we can use different options. Okay. So here we have Prometheus. So I will be using this Prometheus data connection. Add new data source. Okay. In data source, we have this. Okay. And here you need to provide the details of the Prometheus server. So where is my Prometheus running? on EC2 instance. And where is my Grafana running? On the same server. So it can be local host. Either you can pass public IP colon 1990, which is the URL of your Prometheus. Since both Grafana and Prometheus are running on same server, I am using local host. Okay. And then I don't want any authentications or no authentication for now. Okay, just scroll down, click on save and test. So what it will do, it will just try to fetch the query. See, successfully queried the Prometheus API means you were able to fetch the information from Prometheus. So our connectivity is done. Now if I'll go to the connections, sorry, data source, here you can see that there is one data source which is already added and it is been trying to fetch the information from the localhost colon 1990. This is the IP address. Okay, now this is my dashboard. So I want to create one dashboard. Means here you can see that we are trying to fetch the information of CPU. We have three different CPU informations. But this is not clear. If I'll execute this, this is not clear. I'm unable to understand. So what I will do, I will try to create one dashboard in Grafana. Okay, so how to create dashboard? You can just either go to this option, new dashboard, or else here also you can find this option, dashboard. Okay, so click here, new dashboard. Again in dashboards, in Grafana, it will support lot of dashboard. Means already they have custom dashboards you can try to import. No need to create from scratch. Import and just try to modify as per your requirement. If you want to create from scratch, you can use this add visualization. Means how you want to visualize the information. Okay, anything is fine. So let me use add visualization. Okay, and then it is asking us to select the data source. So what is our data source? Is Prometheus. I'm just clicking here. Now here you can see what kind of dashboard you want to see: time series, bar chart, statistics, gauge, bar gauge table. So what information you want to, I mean, how you want to visualize your dashboard. So I want to visualize in terms of values stat, because CP utilization out of 100, how much it is. This will be very easy for me to understand. Now here you can see no data. Why? Because we have added the connection, but there are a lot of metrics. Which metric I want to display here? I haven't decided that, right? So I will just use this title as CPU info. Okay. And then here we have something called, here you can select metric and all. Okay. So what I will do, I will try to use code and I will try to enter the query. Means this information I am trying to check, right? So I will just use this query, copy and paste. Okay, and then run queries. So what it will do, see here, it is trying to display that information. Okay, let me save this dashboard first. CPU underscore info. Save. Now let me try to filter. See here now, if I'll try to check how many metrics are we able to see? 1, 2, 3 means from this particular query, it was fetching 3 information. So this is what it is trying to display. Here you can see instance localhost 9100, instance localhost 9100. Okay. Now let me try to filter. I don't want to view from last 6 hours. I want to view from last 5 minutes. Okay. So this is my current CPU utilization for 3 different metrics. So let me try to refresh, execute. Here you can see 0.033, 0.100, 0.56. Here you can see 0.56, 0.133, 0.933. Is this right or wrong? ఏ అను ఏమ్మా అను మీటింగ్ చేయనా ఏమో లొల్లి పెట్టినావు బంద్ చేయి. Okay, can you see this information? 0.33, 0.56, and this is also the exact information what we are able to fetch from our dashboards. Sorry, from Prometheus dashboard. Clear? Yes or no? Guys, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
It's clear.
చెప్పండి, వినిపిస్తుందా లేదా, అర్థమైందా లేదా?
Yes, sir.
So which one is easy to visualize, Grafana or Prometheus?
Grafana.
Right. So what's the only purpose of Grafana, what we are using in our project? It is only for visualization. We are not doing anything. We are only using Grafana for visualization. Now I want to create another dashboard. Okay, let me go to home. This dashboard is saved, right? Okay. Back to dashboard. Okay, so if I'll go to home, discard, here in dashboards you can see this CP info. If I'll click here, you can see all the three metrics. Okay, now I want to use another dashboard, add visualization, same data source, and then what time you want. I mean, whether you want in terms of time series or what kind of visualization you want, you can select. Okay, now I want that metric, means I want the uptime metric, from how many minutes my server is up and running. Okay, so this metric. So for what I will do, I will just try to use this query. I will be using this stat. Okay, code, enter from QL query, run queries, and it will automatically fetch. So this is our information. Now just save the dashboard. Whatever dashboard you want, you can try to just search for the query and use the same query in your dashboard in Grafana. If you want to monitor the status of your website, install black box, and whatever query you get from the Prometheus, try to integrate that metric here, and that will help you to visualize this. Clear? Just try to watch the video again, try to write down notes, and try to execute whatever I have shown. Means installation process, and then try to monitor couple of metrics. I will also share couple of tasks. Try to work on them, then this will be easy for you to understand. And now my requirement is, once we are able to fetch all the information, I want to send the notification. If my CP utilization is more than 70% for 5 minutes of time, then I want to get one notification, right? So where should I integrate my notification, whether in Prometheus or whether in Grafana? Which one will you recommend?
Prometheus.
Why?
It will contain all the information of the servers.
But still we are able to fetch that information in Grafana, right? So anything is fine. There is no specific, I mean, there is no specific answer for that. Either you can configure alerting in Prometheus or you can configure alerting in Grafana. Grafana is also displaying the same information. It is not trying to modify anything. Whatever it is getting from Prometheus, same information it will try to display. So in tomorrow's session, we'll work on EKS monitoring, and then we'll try to integrate alerting mechanism with Prometheus. Sorry, with Grafana, not Prometheus. I will be using Grafana to send the notification. Okay.
Okay.
Guys, if you have any questions, let me know. In interviews, they'll just ask you, have you worked on what kind of monitoring tool you have used? You'll be answering Prometheus and Grafana. So what metrics you have monitored? You need to inform them that you are monitoring CPU metric, disk space, response time, 400 errors, 500 errors. And also you have the metric related to the number of pods running, how many node machines are running on the cluster, what is the current status, how many times this has been restarted. All those metrics you need to talk about. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
If you have any questions, let me know, or else I will wind up this session now. We'll connect again tomorrow.
All these things tomorrow we are going to see anyhow, right?
No,
Whatever we are. No.
all these things tomorrow you are going to work on EKS, not the regular EC2.
No. My question is like whatever we are supposed to say in the interview,
Hmm.
those things are we going to learn in these 3 sessions? Whatever the sessions are going on.
Already we have completed CPU. I will give you
Yes,
some
yes,
task
yes.
related to
Only.
website status and all. Okay, tomorrow anyhow we are going to work on number of ports and node machines. I cannot really implement all the metrics whatever I have said right now because it
Yes,
will take a lot of
understandable.
time. So that will be part of your task.
Okay, understand.
I have given you the idea what is a monitoring, how implementation should work, what are the different components. Now it's your job to add some details and try to monitor different metrics. Okay. So if no question, then let us wind up this call. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.